Loves, it's Sarah Ezrin, and today we are going to take up space. So many of us try to make ourselves small, and whether that's just because of stress, right, which is like a natural reaction to want to protect our organ system, or whether it's societal telling us we need to be smaller than we actually are, or just simply that discomfort with sharing your voice and sharing your body. So today is going to be all about expanding, which means, excuse me, we're going to have to move what's on our mat to begin. Have 2 blocks and a strap. Let's go ahead and lay down when you're ready. Yes, you. So speaking of taking up space, right, part of that is that mental load of whatever is around you, starting to kind of expand your bubble of awareness. So it's not to say that we're disconnecting from everything. It is simply to say that we allow a little more expansion on our internal level. So it may mean sliding things off your mat. It may mean disconnecting from anything that's going on in the household or at work. Often a big breath can help with that. And then right away, reach the arms overhead, interlace the fingers, flip the palms inside out, reach through your heels. And as you inhale, open your jaw too. So even stretching the face a little more. Exhale, pull the right knee in. Let's keep the left leg pretty active here. Hopefully you have a strap. If not, like anything that you can put around the foot. It can be a scarf. You can grab your toe. We'll come into Supta Padangusthasana. And just for the first few breaths here, explore what it means to have the legs straight or lifted today. Many of us need to keep the lifted knee bent. Favor the bottom leg being strong and grounded. If you are able to straighten the leg, great, enjoy that. But really try to make the spine the most important part of any pose at any time. It's more important to have a long spine than it is to be with a lifted leg. And we'll go ahead and switch the strap into both hands. Like you're hitting a volleyball, not that I play sports or even know what that means. Hold the strap so the thumbs point down towards you. Make sure it's long enough that you can take both arms overhead and then very slowly stretching that lifted leg straight. Again, remember, the knee may be bent, the arms can be bent. What we're going for is a long center, a long spine. And breathe. And then we'll switch that. Release. So first bringing the left knee in, stretch out the right leg. Taking your strap, scarf, whatever, jump rope, dog leash around the foot, holding the strap in both hands. Favor the length in the trunk over the length in the torso, in the limbs. So we want that crown to tail really long. Go ahead and hold the strap now. Thumbs, top of the hand presses down. And then very slowly take the arms overhead. Dogs have no qualms about taking up space, right? They're happy to be loud, to stretch, to yawn, breathe. And then we'll release that. Place the strap off to the side, bring both knees in, start to rock and roll a couple of times here. And even balancing on the sit bones can be fun, like a little Savasana moment until you're ready to rock up. Come to hands and knees. We'll meet in tabletop position. Going into a few cat-cows, we're going to go like around the world in all our movements. So first, sagittal plane, meaning forward and back. Lift your chest, inhale. Exhale and round. And now adding in lateral flexion, which is a side bend. First, inhale, lift the chest. When you exhale, dome your spine so your right ear comes to the right hip. And then back through center, we'll do the other side. First, inhaling in the cow shape. Exhale now, so it's both around and that lateral flexion, lengthening through the right ribs. Do that a few times. Inhale through center. Exhaling, dome the back. Right ear, right hip. One more time. Inhale, or as many as you'd like. Other side. And then coming back to center, line up the wrist and the shoulders. And now take a big circle with your spine. So keeping the hands and the knees grounded, slowly rocking around the joints of the shoulder and the hip. These are ball and socket joints, right? So we want to get a little bit of rotation in both the upper arms, the thigh, where it meets the hip, go the other way. And you're just exploring your range, your movement. We'll meet back in a child's pose. Keep both arms reaching forward. Come up to the fingertips for a second. I like having my head on a block or something, just so the spine is the same height as the hip. Crawl the fingers forward, reach the hips back, and almost like you're giving yourself an adjustment here. Press down through the hips, reach through the fingers, and breathe. And we'll come up to hands and knees. Inhale, lift your heart up once again. Exhale, curl the toes. Let's come into our very first downward facing dog. And for today, we are going to take up space. Feet apart as wide as you can. The hands can be a comfortable distance. You can even go wider with the hand. Get really exploratory. There is no set alignment for any posture, let alone downward dog. So for today, if it's about space, then maybe you have a little bit of a shorter stance for stability. So the spine is being favored. And the heels can get a little closer to the ground. Some of you will do distance between hands and feet. What does taking up space mean for you in this moment? And it includes the breath. Big inhale. Exhale. Let's keep the feet a little wide. They may need to come closer for the stability. Walk the hands all the way back. Big inhale. Reach the chest forward. Exhale, hold, fold, hang, grab the elbows. And not to say that contractions or these more inward shapes are going to be avoided today or are necessarily bad. It's about the intention of space internally. So even as you hang here, even as your belly may touch the thighs, can you lengthen through the crown? Can you let the arm bones be heavy? Can you even spread the toes? And release the arms, keep the head this heavy. Let's roll to standing slowly, one vertebrae at a time. That last moment before lifting the head is the best. Feet are hips wide now. Big inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Crawl back to downward dog. You're welcome to keep it long or wide. Big inhale, lift the right leg up. Spread through the toes. On an exhale, step the right foot in between the hands or as far as you can get it. Lower the back knee down. I'm going to have hands on blocks. Let's straighten and bend the leg. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, rebend the knee, draw the hips forward as you do. Two more like that. Inhale, straightening the front leg. So when you straighten the leg, lengthen the spine. And then when you bend the knee, let the pelvis come towards the front of the space. One more. Inhale. So we're alternating between stretching the back of the leg, the front of the back thigh. Once you're in the lunge position, pause. Reach both arms up towards the sky. Big inhale, maybe look up. Hands down, and we'll step to our first plank position, top of that push-up. You're welcome to do hands and knees. You're welcome to go directly back to dog. I want you to take care of you. Same length here. It's that same line of energy that we found in down dog, and really every pose where the spine is straight. The crown, the tail peeling away from each other. The heels reaching back. Take one more breath. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Spread through the toes. It's almost like the spine actually starts in the hands. That's how lengthened we are through both sides of the arms. Exhale, we'll step the left foot towards the front as far as it can go. And then lower the back knee. You can have your fingers on the floor. I like hands on blocks. 3 breaths, move with intention. Inhale, straighten the front leg, chest forward. Exhale, bend the front knee, hips forward. Inhale, straighten the front leg, chest forward. Exhale as you bend the front knee, let the hips come forward. And I lost count. Do one more. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale and bend the knee, hold. We'll come up now into that low lunge position. Reach the arms up, lean back, maybe tiny back bend in the upper spine. Hands down, we'll step back into plank pose once more. Hold at the top, big inhale. Exhale, keep your toes curled under, drop your hips, bend your elbows, and then lift your chest up. So it's a variation of upward facing dog using the toes curled under to activate the legs. Come back through plank pose, hold, inhale, and then back to downward dog. Walk the hands to the feet at the back of the mat slowly. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale, we fold, hands on blocks, floor, or hang. Rising, inhale, slowly press the feet, reach all the way up, and bring the hands to the heart. All right, let's take a wide step out to the side. Have your blocks on either side if you have them, so you're all set up. No props, no big deal. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Feet and legs are wide, 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 wide. Turn the right leg out, angle your back foot in. Let's keep a heel to heel track of the feet. Reach through the right arm and then come on into a very long Trikonasana. And long as in front foot to back foot. And then once you're in, as high as you need to with that bottom hand and block, or simply resting your hand on your top thigh. Make it work for you. You can have your bottom hand on a chair. But in this length and distance, sometimes there can feel like a little more instability than when we're shorter. So squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, hug in, and turn the belly chest up. Notice if your shoulder is doing all the work, slide the shoulder blade down, much wide across the arms as you are lengthening from spine to tail, like a big T. And we'll press into the front foot. Inhale, rise up, parallel the feet. So if you have the two blocks, you should already be set up, or move your block. Second side, left leg turns out, back heel in, and come on into your Trikonasana, triangle pose on the left side. So I'm just adjusting here. I'm not going to have my feet apart wide as far as side to side, front of the mat to the back of the mat, distancing there. And then because we're playing with that distance, a little more attention in the hugging in, a little more of that drawing in of the lower belly, so it supports the distance and actually allows us to expand even more on the top half of the body. And then reaching through the arms like a wide T shape, bottom hand pressing down, top arm up, reach through the crown. Maybe turn your head and rise up slowly on an inhale. Parallel the feet, heel toe a little closer together. You can step or hop your feet together. Stepping the feet out wide once more, Prasarita Padottanasana A, hands on hips, lift the chest. Exhaling, fold forward, palms are gonna come to the ground, blocks, bed, whatever you need. Big inhale, look forward. Exhale, we're folding at the hips, crown of the head can come down to the ground. Keep lengthening the spine here. So even though we are folded forward, you want to have that idea of the top of the head lengthening towards the ground. So again, it doesn't matter if the head can ever touch a block or the floor. It's the intention, the direction of that movement, which is going to open up the space between the skull and the uppermost rib. And we'll keep our hands where they are, inhaling. Hands on hips, bring yourself all the way back upright. Bend your knees, step or hop. Meet me at the top of the space. Interlace the hands behind the back. Keep your legs and feet hips distance. Slowly start to peel the chest open. Stay standing, Tadasana legs. With the interlace, the clasp, very gentle back bend here, opening up the heart. Make sure you favor the chest opening over just dropping the head back. So we're keeping this long coil of the spine. From here, come all the way up. Pause when your spine is stacked. Bend the knees and fold with the interlaced position up and over the legs. And you can keep a tiny bend in the knees. You're welcome to work your leg towards straight. Arms go up and over. Coming up to standing with a long spine, bend the knees, keep the interlace, rise all the way up. Big inhale, pause at the top, and release the arms. Let's do the other side. So simply switching the interlace. If you're holding a strap, don't worry, your hands on hips, you don't need to change it up. We'll just repeat the round. Lift and lengthen through the spine, heart up, chest up, look up. Exhale, we roll slowly over. Let the head surrender last. Pause, breathe. Whatever you're doing with your hand position doesn't matter. It's the opening of the chest, the widening of the collarbones. And then we come up slowly, long spine. Inhale your way all the way up. Release the arms. Circle the arms up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. If you have the room in your room to take the arms wide, I invite you to do that. Inhale, look forward. I bump into my mirrors and my windows. Step back to your downward facing dog. All right, you're welcome to take what we call a vinyasa here. It's that combination of inhaling towards plank, lowering through chaturanga or knees down to the floor, or hovering. A cobra pose or an upward facing dog, entirely up to you, or you're simply holding and breathing in downward dog. On an inhale, lift the right leg to the sky, lift it light. Exhale, let's step the right foot through the hands, spin the back foot flat. Let's bring the blocks towards the front or something that just gives your chest a little more height here. You can be on fingertips. Parsvottanasana with the legs, which is pyramid pose, but really Parsva means side. So it's an intense side angle pose. Reaching the heart forward. Uttanasana is that intense forward fold. So as we're hugging the right hip in, pressing through the back heel, lengthening through the spine, long line from crown to back heel. Bring both hands onto the hips, stand all the way up. You're welcome to keep your hands on your hips or repeat the interlace position. Inhale, lift the chest. Remember, holding a strap is another alternative. So more important to have your chest open than to have the hands touch. Pause here, lift up and lengthen up. Heart towards the chin, look up. Exhale, can you keep the back bend in the upper spine as you start to fold? So we're tipping at the hips, but we're maintaining that little curve in the uppermost spine. The neck's gonna wanna do all the work here. Chin down, chest to the big toe, and breathe. Oftentimes taking up space is not just a physical experience, but even the thoughts in our head. Right? When we think a limiting belief, that is also a limiting energy. So going into everything with a sense of curiosity and unknownness. Coming all the way back up, very slow. Free the arms, inhale. Sweep them to the sky. We'll bring the hands to the floor. Step to downward facing dog. Or you're welcome again to take one of those vinyasas or modify it, any transition, to meet back in dog. Left leg, inhale, lift it slow. Exhaling, step the foot forwards. Spin the back foot flat. We're keeping a long stance again here. Up onto the blocks or on your fingertips, just so that when we begin, the crown and the tail are on the same plane. Reaching the heart forward. Parsva meaning side, intense side stretch. So we're really trying to get that one line from the left outer hip all the way through the left side of the body. And then we'll bring our hands on our hips, come all the way up. Interlace the hands to the other finger on top. Hands on hips, hold a strap, whatever you need to do to open the chest. Start to lean open. Take the head up, look up. And then we play, how do we fold while maintaining the openness of the heart? How do we stay expansive when things start to feel heavy and weighted? It is a continual commitment to awareness. How are we opening the heart? What are we doing in our body, in our head? Literally bring the chin down, reach the chest forward. Deep breath here. Coming up slowly on the inhale, reach both arms up. And we'll bring the hands to the floor. You're coming back to down dog any way you'd like. Maybe you're taking the chaturanga combo. I do want to remind you that vinyasa simply means to place in a special way. It does not mean chaturanga or up dog or that combo of poses. It's just an intentional step-by-step manner of returning back to where you came. Let's take a big breath together in. Open the mouth. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot forward in between the hands, lowering the back knee to the floor. Have both blocks nearby, returning to Ardha Hanumanasana, which is the half split position. So straightening the leg by pulling the hip back, yes, but you saw me kind of slide my front heel forward. So that was that heavy hip that we played with in the very beginning. And for a great many of us, this is going to be our pose, and this is a fantastic pose. Split simply means two pieces moving apart. Those of you with more, if you want to play a little bit and you're quite comfortable in your hamstrings, you're welcome to slide your heel forward, come upright a little more with the torso. The other thing I like to do is actually put something under my front sit bone, like a block, balance on there, and you can have your hands down. So you're doing you. It can be here, here. Some of you coming all the way down to the ground with your pelvis. Please find the position that is both most lengthening, but also spacious internally. And that'll be judged by your breath. And then bring the hands onto the hips, lift the heart up. Take a big inhale. And we'll slowly release. Bring the hands down, rebend the front knee. Meet me in a downward facing dog, however you would like to get there. Second side, inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, we'll step the left foot in between the hands. Lower the back knee to the floor. Slowly straighten up the front leg. Notice when we straighten the leg directly, now we've got that back knee aligned with the back hip. So you can totally stay here, that's great. But I want to add in the hip flexor stretch in the back leg. So that often means sliding that front foot forward a little bit. Having the back knee behind the back hip. So you get both hamstrings on the front leg. That's the 3 muscles on the back of the leg that are getting lengthened, and hip flexor on your back leg. And then stay here if you'd like. Start to explore, bringing the hips a little bit lower. Whatever distractions may be contracting you in, whether it's a reaction or a reaching out and away from center. Let's take up space from a more internal place. So that includes full breaths, listening to the body, lifting the heart. Okay. You can bring your hands onto your hips, tiny back bend here. And then release that. Both hands down, slide the front heel back. Find your way to downward dog any way you like. Vinyasa means to simply move with intention. My vinyasas are very different post shoulder surgery and 2 kids. All right, let's take a big full inhale, open the mouth. Exhale, bend the knees. You can step, hop, find your way to seated. Let's come onto the back. And then move everything out of the way. So you're able to lay flat, have the knees bent, feet on the floor. Coming into bridge pose, knees over the ankles. Slowly lift the hips up, roll the arms underneath, and get nice and high on the shoulders. Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, the bridge. And it seems like we're coming, this shape, if you look at it, right, knees are bent, feet are down on the ground, the interlace, it kind of seems like a compressive shape. So where do we find the lengthening here? What are we lengthening? Well, first the breath. And then always, when possible, the spine. Tail to the backs of the knees, drawing C7 into the body. That's that uppermost neck vertebrae. Even the back of the head very lightly pressing into the ground. Take one more inhale. And lower. Pause. We're going to come up again one more time. We're going to add a little bit of a split. So if you want to modify this or to a variation instead, you're welcome to put a block underneath and do that version. You can also do this in upward bow. Ready? Lift the hips up. Roll the arms underneath. Get high onto the shoulders. Do the other finger on top. Switch it up a little bit. Weight is in the left heel. Bring your right leg up and straight. And breathe. But just because the leg is lifted doesn't mean that we start to shorten in or pull in or contract. If anything, let it be an invitation to lengthen more. Other side, place the right foot down, left leg, so the right foot is now your anchor as the left leg lifts, breathing. And we'll lower the leg, lower the hips, and come all the way to the ground. Bring both knees in, give them a little squeeze. If it feels good, breathe. And then we'll stretch both legs up to the sky. Keep your legs nice and straight. Always take care of yourself, right? Bend if you need to. Have the hands flat on the floor. Take a big inhale as you lower the legs and just hover them from the floor 1 inch. Exhale and lift. So lots of ways to make this your own. It's not about getting the legs straight. Inhale, it's about lengthening the whole spine with the breathing so the diaphragm moves down. That's our breathing muscle. Exhale, it pulls up to squeeze the breath out. Do 3 more. Inhale to lower. So you can do this with bent knees, 1 leg at a time. Inhale. Exhale, lift, 1 leg at a time or 2 legs at a time, up to you. We're doing 1 final round. Inhale. Exhale, and pull the knees in. All right, rolling over to a side, press up to sitting. Stretch both legs out to straight in front of you. Coming into Sukhasana where the shins are crossed, or double pigeon. Double pigeon is stacking the shins instead. So right ankle over left knee over right. Arms up, big full breath. Exhale. So if you have your blocks, I recommend coming onto them, even if you know you can fold all the way down, so that we almost like hook them into the sticky mat. Just get yourself a little bit of traction in here. Pull back on wherever the hands may be, whatever surface you're holding, if it's a block, the mat, the fingertips, and then reach the chest forward in between that. And you can let your head be a little heavy now. Hopefully noticing a little more space between the thoughts, a little less contraction energy around certain things. Maybe creativity is reigniting, maybe ideas are coming into your head. Stay with your body, stay with your breath. Come up to sit. I know as a writer, it's always like my best ideas come through and then I think I forget them, but they will come back. Left ankle on top or the left shin on top, reach the arms up. We got to trust in the space we're creating here. Bring the hands onto the blocks or you're on your fingers, pull the heart forward. Feeling that even just the push-pull of the drawing the hands back, the reaching the chest forward, that does lead us to stretch. Like the push-pull of responsibility, the push-pull of trying to balance it all. And ultimately, we have this opportunity to stretch and to grow. And we'll come on up to sit. All right, we're gonna use the blocks for our version of Shavasana. If you don't have blocks, again, get creative, roll your towel up or simply lying flat. It's not about the pose. Otherwise, you'll set it up in a supported fish position. So you got blocks for under the thoracic, the shoulder blades, and a block for under the back of the head. And let's go ahead and lay on down. Again, if you're next to a window in your room, you don't have to be filming or on camera, right? You can take up as much space as possible. Stretch the legs out. I'm actually going to opt to just take my arms overhead for a few breaths. Maybe stretch the arms to straight, maybe grab an elbow. Closing the eyes if that feels supported, or just simply letting them soften. Exploring the physical space with our breathing. Big inhale. A full sigh. Resting, doing nothing is probably the most powerful way we can take up space. By simply existing, simply being. We don't have to be doing all the time. So you may notice the mind racing, you may feel that to-do list in the pause, or those creative thoughts coming back in. Huge breath. Let these few minutes, these precious minutes, be the time to just be. I invite you to pause the video to stay longer. If you are moving with me, reach the arms overhead once more, flex through the ankles. We'll bend the knees as you roll over to a side. Don't forget you're on a little bit of a lip there, coming up to sitting. And then just observe. Observe, where do you feel more spacious? Maybe it's physical, maybe it's something deeper, one of those deeper layers, energy, space in the thoughts, clarity of wisdom. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. Stay in touch, sarahezrinyoga.com or Sarah Ezrin Yoga on Instagram, Sarah Ezrin on TikTok, and just have the most lovely, spacious evening, day, whatever time it may be for you. Lots of love.